is tapered. So your hands are on here and you're rolling it back and forth on your hands like this, across. I'll pass this around.
So your hands aren't in the food?
No, you're rolling it like this and around. And this was originally to be a Christmas gift for my son and his bride a year ago last Christmas. And so I started doing them, and I was thinking, you know, all right, this is great. Actually, no, I did it this last Christmas. They were here for Thanksgiving. I sent it back with them then. And so I started doing them earlier, and I'm not great, but I'm okay with a skew. And I thought, you know, everything was getting wavy. I couldn't get it straight. So I decided, all right, there's got to be a better way. So I came up with a cradle like this, which I'll show you shortly on what it does. And with this cradle, I can cut parallel lines easy peasy. Very easy. Now, in terms of the wood, the one I'm passing around, that's hickory with cherry on the inside. And what I did was I took a square blank of 8x8 hickory and cut it in half, put in a cherry strip, glued it, flipped it 90 degrees, cut it in half, put in a cherry strip, glued it. And that's what the design you see. So for this one, this is maple, and with a, it's 3/4 inch maple on each side with a 3/4 inch in the middle. So I'll pass that around. And what I do is I use Tight Bond 3, which is waterproof, for the simple reason that this is going to come in contact with pastry, which has water in it. And therefore I don't want to leave any chance that it's going to absorb or break down. One of the things I found, though, is when I was doing my prototypes, is I was just using some leftover lumber, and it didn't work very well. So if I go over to the, over here. So on this, when you cut lumber, here's this, here's the pith, and they'll slice out pieces like this, and pieces like this. You know, 12 inch, 10 inch, 8 inch, 6 inch. But the grain pattern that you see on the side, that's where you get the rays and the flames on. But if you cut this section and this section, that's all quarter sawn, which is straight grain. And when I was using this type of wood, I was getting a little chip out because of the rays. You're dealing with ingrain. Every one of these is ingrain that you see basically. So I thought, all right, quarter sawn, how do you get that? I went to Sherway Building Center in Vancouver, and I had arranged for our club, Southwest Washington, to get a 10% discount, club discount for their wood. And and here there's a Sherway Building Center in St. John's. So your club could go in and say, we'd like a club discount for us, and it's a cash only discount. You can't charge it to the club. And you get it, depending on the wood, ranges for anywhere from 5 to 10%. So what I found at Sherway was, for the big planks, it's all this wood. But for what they have like mini molding, and that is made from quarter sawn, which is perfectly straight. So you won't get any little checkies or anything. It's great, absolutely great. And if you're out cutting, everybody goes for bowls on this section and this section. Save these. I do. And I dry them up, and I cut the pith out, and I mark them. Date A, B. or number 1A, 1A. The next step, 1B, 1B, and so on. What this does is it tells me which pieces match. So then, as it dries out, I run the inside edge on my joiner, glue them together with Type-On. Now I've got anywhere from an 8 to a 12-inch charcuterie board or platter that's all quarter saw. And it makes it really stable wood. But with charcuterie, like from this, I could get 3, 4. If you cut this as a 3-section, you can get 3 charcuterie boards out of that, which is great for selling. Let me go around you. Okay, so set up here. Now, what you got in dealing with this, I went ahead and I rough turned this here just for saving time. I put a tenon on each end, which I'll get to. So why do you have a tenon on each end? You'll see. I have these jaws out here. After learning, when I get in close like this, I nicked my knuckle. So I switched out the little short ones to long ones. It's very easy to, and it's like 60 bucks, but it's worth a ton of medical and Band-Aids. So anyway, we've got this all set up. We've got everything going for both. Now, as far as my cradle, and I'll pass this around, and I'll need this one back, or I'll send this around real quick, but I need them back. What this is this rides my tool rest. So what you do is you take this and you move your tool rest so this and this end is parallel with the gap in the ways. So this is parallel to this. The only tools I use is a roughing gouge that is sharpened with up to a 220. Then I put it on, I have a 600 grit wheel that I run it on to get a more polished edge. And then I have a 1000 grit honing that I just put on and go around this and around the top. And then I take a slipstone to take out the burr. This is super, super sharp. So first thing you do is you get a piece of wood for your cradle. This is maple. You take one of these and you put this down and you get a basic shape. One of the other things I do is I get a little magnet and I epoxy it to the end of the pencil. So now I can keep pencils on all my machines and they don't get lost, they don't fall down, and everything else. So now I've got this and I go in here. I use that end. Go in here to where I want this to be. Can you come here? Hold that steady. I go in and I go up down to about, quarter inch. And you can see up on that, there's the outline. I then take a block of wood, put some double-sided tape on it, tape it like this, and then I run this through the bandsaw. So what I get are bandsaw cuts like this. But before I do that, forgot to tell you, what I do is, before I cut all this up, I measure, all right, this is that's a 1/4 inch. I will take another piece of wood, match it together like this, blue tape them together, and like that. And then I will take, this is a 3/8 inch bar at the top of my tool rest, and I will drill a 3-inch bar down the center. And that gives me my cradle that will fit on this. And I've got to take it out a little bit here take it out and on the edges, and so it is, we'll see, the reason I ease the edges is because if I go like this, it'll hit the tool rest. So now I can go back a little bit, back and forth, back and forth. Now, we're back to this. I've got my tool, I've got my cutout. I'll take a chisel, pop all that waste out. And then I go to my oscillating sander. And I run this, still attached to this, and I run it against the oscillating sander until I meet the line. And this fits. I'll have to go widen it a little bit because your roughing gouge is not symmetrical. It's wider. It's more oval. And what I do is then I cut this and I keep sanding until I break through. You see up on the screen. I break through. Now, with that little bit of area that's broken through, when I put this on this, I'm not on wood, I'm on the metal. All the wood is doing is keeping it straight, and I can go back and forth absolutely parallel all the way across. And that's the key. You always get straight edges all the way across. And I will take this down with my roughing gouge, and after I get to this point, that's when I go back and I put on that very, very fine hone. So, now we're going to pull this up, close one eye, get it straight, going back and forth, so on. Okay, that's good enough. I have a robust Sweet 16, which is a little bit shorter. I've got this grip in, and rather than I like to work a little bit high, but I can't do that, so I'll go down low, but I twist it down like this, so I have the same angle. This angle here going along the top is the same as this down here going along the top. So now I could put this on, put this in, that. I also have a story stick that has all my cuts on it. So basically I'm going to put this in, get my pencil, find basically the center, and I have here's my taper, here's my end, here's my taper, here's my end. This is start of the taper, right here and here. So now I go through And it's between these two lines that I have to be parallel. I did have a standard 12-inch, wasn't long enough, so I bought the robust 15. Now I could do it all back and forth without having to move this thing. Because once you move it, trying to get it exactly the same is a real bitch. It's a pain. Okay, so let's go to here. Here, looks good. Face mask. $1,500. And all I'm doing is taking dandruff off. That's it. So this, and also because this is flat all the way across, if I feel the edge is getting a little bit loose, all I do is rotate it and I have a fresh edge all the way around. So I don't have to go back and forth like with a regular gouge to put a new edge on, because you're running with it a little bit. So we'll go in like this. And you can see very, very, very fine shavings.
What's the finished diameter you want to get to when it's rolling?
What's what?
What's the finished diameter that you want to do? 2 1/4?
It depends on what wood I'm doing. The one I passed around, I use smaller wood, because I had the inside is only 1/8 of an inch versus 3/4. And this is fine for my wife and daughter and my son's mom, mother-in-law, because they have small hands. But if you want to do bigger stuff, then you could go down to anything you want. What I start off with the blank on is based on the size of the wood strips I get at Sherway. Now if you get the longer pieces, it's like maple is like $7.99, $8.99 a board foot. You get down to the quarter sawn, it's $3.99, $4.99, and it's quarter sawn. All right. Can't see, it's fogging up. Yeah. Now this is a little bit more, I put that in, I got about 1/8 of an inch there. Line this up again. I don't know what's happening with this. Nerves. I'm also holding, instead of straight, I'm holding at a slight angle, so I'm getting a little bit of a shear cut. Jesus. I was down too low. Okay,
Okay, we get the idea?
I get the idea. So, now we're going to go, let me finish this off. There we go. That is smooth and it is parallel.
Okay.
What are we on time?
We're 25 minutes. 26 minutes.
26 minutes, okay. Now, what I'm gonna do then is, this actually takes like 45 minutes. I bring back my story stick. Put that back where I want it. Put in my ends. Start and end. Start and end. All right, these are my ends. Then I take the parting tool and I'll move this down, go down and give me about, quarter inch. I take it down to about 3/4, maybe 5/8 or 7/8. And I give myself about a 1/2 inch of time. Then I take this down, gives me a 1/2 inch or 3/4 to 7/8 of an inch here to play with. Then
You say that on the outside of the line?
on the outside of the line. Then I take out my big one, put in my small one, and what I do, when I put it in, I take a little piece of block wood and I put it here, and then I turn this to where the cut is. So this is now my taper, and I go back to my cradle and I take my cradle and take it down the taper. I come over here, take this down to the taper. Now I'm here, everything is smooth, everything is done, and we go into the sanding. And for that, I use these sheets, or I'll use these sheets. Now, a lot of people will spin it up and turn it. You're putting side grain. So when I have this, I'm sanding this way. Going down, sanding this way. Turning it, sanding. So the sandpaper lines are in conjunction with the grain of the wood. Flats on. Go all the way down, get this all the way up to 600 grit. Between each grit, it's important, I take this water and I spritz it. And I take this, rub it down, turn it on, let it dry for about 2 minutes, and you'll feel it and the grain is raised. I go back with the next higher grit, do that, spritz it, let it dry, grain is raised. I go back, do it one more time, up to 600. I don't spritz after 600. But I have no raised grain. Yes?
You do that in the middle of the spindle as well?
Yes. Just to make it extra baby skin smooth. All the way down. When I get down here, I'm down to my 3/4 inch. I will take my spindle detail gouge and I will go up here and I will, what I do is I part on this side, not that. And this is, the reason being is like mine, I have my on-off that can magnetize that I can pull over here. or I could put it like right here. And the reason is that I do this is when I cut it off, I'm doing such a shear cut, I don't really have to sand. So I'm here like this, going in and just coving that over and cutting this end off. And as soon as it separates, that I'm holding onto this, I reach over, press the button, and I stop it. After that, I turn it around. So this one is finished. I take this, and on my other piece here, I have this right here. And this fits over that. It's cupped with a cork impregnated with rubber that's epoxied in. Put that over. I now have, that goes in like this. This end has the tenon. I put that in because this will give me the strongest. If I use this over here, I still have some wobble. Over here I have maybe 2% wobble because it's in it. From here I take and turn this off. When that's done, take my little sanding pad, put that in, take this off, put that in. This is 220, and I run this, and now all I do is stick this in the middle and go around like that, and it finishes it off. This is a quick release, so I take that out, put in my 320, my 400, 600, and it's done. When it's finished, I coat it with wood oil, walnut oil, because you'll talk to some and they, oh no, you just use straight wood. You know, don't put any finishes on it. Walnut oil is not only safe, but you're dealing with ingrain here, but it seals it. And just as I have this here like this, I have one with a tenon on this side, so I'll put it between the two tenons, and I will speed this up and put the walnut oil and let it sit. And at the end, all I have to do is do a little bit here and a little bit here. But this is such a fine cut that I have no tear out or anything else, I'll just soak it up. Any questions? Yes?
Open woods like oaks, you just stay away, you feel it?
Open woods I stay away from. It looks really good with walnut, but it's an open grain. Unless I may do it if I find quarter sawn oak. Because as far as the grain, it doesn't have that flaring. It has the open pores are much more finer. But it's very, very hard to find that.
What do you tell your customers when they say, hey, can I dishwasher this, do I just wipe it off?
Just a damp rag, period. Oh, one of the things, while it's up here, I didn't show you, is I have on here marks, and it's on my mark here, story stick, and I put these marks in. And after this is done, here's my taper. I will mark the 8 lines, and then I will take my parting tool, just barely touch it to make a score in each one of these. Not deep to attract pastry dough, but just to make a mark. I then take, this is 14 gauge. I use piano wire. Like the high-end A wire, and all I do is I burn these in.
And what's the purpose of this?
Just ornamental? Or
Nope.
just functional?
Functional. When people, you could buy on Amazon or you know, Bed Bath & Beyond, all these plastic sheets that have the circles for your pie things, and you've got to go here, and if you're off, you're over the line here, you're under the line over there, you don't know. 8 inches, 10 inches, 6 inches, 8, 10, 12 inches. So as you're doing this and the dough is moving, if on one side you're going like this and you reach, let's say you're doing a 9-inch pie plate, well, it actually needs 10 inches in order to account for going down into the dish. So you'll make a 9-inch pie plate, you'll go out to 10 inches and you get it and dough comes out to 10 inches, but you look, or it'll come out to 10 inches this way, but not this way. So now you know to turn. So you use these as the guides. This is 6, that's 7, that's 8, that's 9, that's 10, that's 11, that's 12. That way you get perfectly round pie crust. And then for the top, if you put a pie crust on the top, that takes 9 inches, so I would do 6, 8, 8, and the 9. That way you're not wasting dough.
Is there an issue about getting it clean where those grooves are afterwards?
No, because this is a prototype, this is deep. And it's only, what would you say, about 64th of a 64th, 32nd of a,
Listen to thread.
less than a thread.
Yeah.
But what I do is I even make them even less now. All you wanted is a mark and it's burned in so it'll never have to be wiped. And the biggest thing when I give it to people, it's natural wood, U.S. bred and harvested. And now I add on one more thing. It's tariff free. And people love it. I've talked to people. It's tariff free. Oh, okay.
You ever put
Okay.
thickness rings on them?
What?
You ever put thickness rings? Little rings that will graduate the thickness of the dough.
I have thought of it, but I haven't done it yet.
It's not hard, and it is
Yeah.
important, depending on the dough you're making. You know, like if you got someone who's doing puff pastry, you need to be 1/8 of an inch,
Okay.
and it's not hard. To
Well,
do.
what I was actually thinking is doing this instead of going straight to a taper, have a little 1/16 inch high, little knot on here. So you go, it's outside the ring.
Right, and what
So when you
would
go,
do-
it only goes down to 1/8 of an inch.
What you would do is you would take your rings and you slide them over either end,
Yeah.
and you have a set of rings that's 16 to 8.
Do you use plastic rings or what do you
No,
do?
you make them out of wood.
Wood? Okay.
In for a penny, in for a pound.
And one of the things I was thinking is making these, but putting little ridges with cutouts so you could go and do pasta. You start at one end, you get down to your thing, you pull this one out, and you go right along, and there's your cutout pasta. You do one for linguine, one for egg noodles, one for, that way you sell more. Yeah, one for spaghetti. Yeah, and all that.
That's, yeah, little bead.
Yep, little, yeah. Well, you go down and make these, but you have the sharp edge up like this, like this, like this.
Yeah.
So it just cuts right through.
Yep.
But you got to use a hard wood on that
Yeah.
and that, which is more important for using the quarter sawn. Because otherwise, if you're at the top of a ray, you're it's going to chip out. So, it's just like, what can I do to make it? And you sell a set. Somebody's doing pasta, all right. Because a lot of times they sell these little things where you do your whole strip and it only does like 6 inches
Yeah.
and that. Well, now you could go, use this to go all the way out and then just, done.
Put it on.
Yeah, and if you wanna get fancy, you can go like this.
Yeah.
It's another way. That's it for future,
Okay,
so,
well, thank you very much.
you're welcome.
Yeah.